Wendy, your stream is live now, and now you can make me your co-host.
Hello. Hi, Fred.
Hello.
Thanks for coming back.
Oh, yeah. You're welcome.
I'm glad you're enjoying these classes.
I am.
Good. That's wonderful. We have a really nice sized class today. Not so many. Probably get through all kinds of great things. Let's just see. Let's just see how many are in our class. We have, let's see here. We have, let me see. Teach so many classes, I forget what I'm teaching. We have
iPad.
17 people in our class today. So we're going to wait just a few more minutes. But before I get going on other things, I'll tell you what I'm going to tell everybody else as well. Because this is an iPad intermediate class, for those of you who've taken it before with me, you know, I like to teach you some new things, and I like you to ask questions on things you would like to learn, because the reality is once you start getting beyond the basics of any, you know, device, you may have your own interest level of wanting to get to know certain features or certain functions or things better. And since there's the world, you know, on these devices, I certainly want to be at least hitting some of the highlights for some of you. This class, I love this class because I get such varieties of levels of people and what you're doing and what your knowledge base is. And I think that we also learn from each other a lot in this class. So that is one thing I love a lot. So while we're waiting, I like to wait 5 minutes. We have just a couple more. I like to have you guys put in the chat some questions. Or you can just raise your hand. We can ask them. We can put them later. We have Todd with us from Get Set Up. He is our TA. He's wonderful. He will help you with any technical issues you have and or help you with any questions that I don't know. Sometimes I have TAs that can help me figure out things that I don't even know. And also, just to let you know, the iPad, all of the devices, the iPad, the computer, whatever, seem to be changing kind of frequently, like what they can do and sort of what their features are. I stay up to date as much as I can, but a lot of you have probably done things, used features, used functions that maybe I don't know or I haven't learned. So please always feel free to step in and share and say, hey, Wendy, I did it this way. Or, I don't ever feel like you're taking my thunder. I like to share it with anybody if you know a way or another way. I've had learners learn things from each other in ways that I haven't known. So I really appreciate that when you do that. So we'll wait one more minute or two, and then we'll just get going. So I recognize some of you. Eva, I recognize you. And Fred. How many of you have taken this class with me before?
Oh, I haven't had intermediate.
You haven't had intermediate, but Fred is like an advanced user, but he likes to step in on all my classes.
Can always learn something.
You can. You took my beginner class the other day, right? You learned something. That is actually the beauty of these devices and these classes. Even though it may be a beginner or an intermediate, there's always things to learn. And the honest truth is, once you've kind of understand the device, the world's your oyster in terms of what we can learn on it. And that's why I like you to share with me some things that you may be interested in, because I don't know everything. So I think actually we'll get going. I'm Wendy. I'm from Colorado. I'll be your guide today. I think you've all taken a lot of Get Set Up classes, or many of them before. And just to refresh your memory, we're a community of guides who teach all of you wonderful learners topics and things that you would like to learn. We are a passionate group of people that are communicating with everyone around the world. And it's really very special because I think we're developing a really cool community of people that didn't know that you could take so many classes and learn so many things, and it's not just a requirement for a major or something. We are going to record this. Of course, Todd is already recording it. So if you would like a copy of this particular class, you can write to help@getsetup.io. You'll get a recording of this class. We're not promoting any products. We don't get any paid for any products. My background, just to give you quickly, is I was a pediatric PA for a lot of years. And then I have this bent for technology. So I went to work for Apple and I stole a bunch of their secrets. And then I opened my own company, teaching seniors about technology, everything. And then this pandemic hit and Get Set Up kind of found me and I found them, and I've been teaching ever since. So it's really, really great. It's fun. I love to teach. I love to be with people that want to learn, and it's awesome. So again, for those of you that were not on, Todd is our Get Set Up TA, and anything that I can't help you with technologically or not, just put it in the chat and we'll get going. So I'm going to share my iPad with all of you, and we can start learning some new things. All right, so here we go. Give me a second. If you're not on video and you'd like to be for just a minute so I can see who you are, I'd love that. If not, I totally understand. It just makes me feel like I'm a little more connected to you guys if I know who you are. I even don't care if you're in your pajamas. I think I'm going to start teaching my pajamas to make people feel more comfortable. Although we're getting out of the pandemic, so we're having to wear clothes with zippers and things like that now, right? Okay, here we go. I'm going to share my iPad with you. And I hope, let's see here. Okay, you should be able to see my iPad. Yes, 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 and yes. Okay, what I did was something cool that I'm going to teach you guys today. But, all right. Carolyn, you're driving. Okay, well, you can listen carefully today. Please be careful while you're driving. So one thing that I have not told all of you is that Apple does this pretty cool thing called tips, and it is in your plethora of applications. It should already be on your iPad. And if it is not, you can download it, but it's this guy right here, and it's called Tips. And every week or so, they update this. So if I tap on tips, it is going to tell me, and therefore you, some new things that are going on your device. There's also tips on your phone. And there are tips, I don't think there's tips on the OS device, the Mac computer and stuff, but it's really cool because they do give you some of the latest, greatest. So I'm going to tap on that and see if there's anything new that I might learn just on here. Specific messages, curated guides. That's kind of fun. Perfect shapes. I don't have a pencil, but we can do this anyway. We can go to that. I'm just seeing. So you know how it says iPad OS? That is because iPad now has its own operating system. It's kind of cool. I don't know exactly what the difference is, but we have, iOS, which is for our mobile devices, and iPad used to run on the exact same mobile device software as the phone, and now it has its own. And what the capabilities it has been given by its own operating system are more congruous with our computers that are Apple. And so things that are going on our computer, we can really do more now on our iPad, and it's just great. They're little computers. So some of the things that I think I'd like to begin with, and again, questions are more than welcomed because I want to know what you guys want to know, but I want to go over sort of a couple, I guess, housekeeping items that help us keep our iPads a little more organized and clean. If you go to settings, which is obviously, our little wheel there, and you scroll down to any of your browsers. So I'm going to go to Safari and say I want to clean out my Safari, history and websites, because those things do take up space. They end up collecting there. It's like dust, you open it and it leaves a little trace of itself every time it opens. So you can do it with Safari, you can do it with Chrome, you can do it with whatever, but these are ways to kind of try to keep our iPads more cleaned up. So I'm going to go to, I scrolled down and I'm going to go to clear history and website data. All right. And what this does is it clears out your history. So your cookies that have been traced and trapped by other companies or other, software lurching devices, and it clears it out, but it also will clear out your opportunity if you go back to Safari and you want to look to see a previous bookmark or something, a previous site. It won't have that for you. It won't prompt it. It will not predict it. But I personally, I'd rather have less predictive opportunity and a cleaner iPad. So I just go to clear and it clears it out. And one of the ways that we can start to manage our iPad storage is to just do exactly things like this. Okay. So if I scroll down to, do you see where it says this Apple ID? If I touch that and then I go to iCloud, I can now look at my storage situation on my iPad. And the situation here is on my iCloud. So I can see what is taking up a lot of space and what is not. I happen to have a very large amount of iCloud storage because I do so much, but you don't have to have that much, but it's a good idea to always look and see where you are at with your storage so you know whether or not you're getting to be a little bit closer to working. Okay, now one other thing, we can go to general, and if we go to about, that gives you your base information, right? And so I have a 128 gigabyte iPad, and I have almost 100 gigabytes available. That's good. You will start seeing decreased function on your, hello, Mr. Bennett. I have a 150-pound Newfoundland that just came into my class. You'll start to see a decreased performance in your iPad when you get to about 3/4 of your capacity. And that's why it's just important to be mindful of what's in your cloud, as well as what is actually on your physical device. So I'm going to go back to general up here, and I'm actually going to push iPad storage. And what this will do is it's going to show you where your greatest storage is. So I have, 9 gigabytes of photos. I have messages. Messages can be cleaned out. And I advise doing it every once in a while, except that sometimes, and it's getting better, and I'm going to show you, I don't know if I'll show you today, but you can offload information from messages into specific folders, into notes or into documents or into photos. And that takes it out of the message application, and therefore decreases the weight, the volume, the storage in your messages. And that can be pretty helpful. So this is funny, GarageBand. Nobody uses GarageBand. It's not even really an application that is hardly used. I have tried, watch this. I have tried to delete it. It takes up, it's a pretty large app. 1.55 is a pretty large app for these days. Watch this. I'm going to go to delete. I'm going to say delete the app. And I've done this 3 times and I have no idea why Apple likes to keep it. But we're going to see if it will actually delete it. I mean, maybe it will. It always seems to come back. But what this general window shows, guys, is just a really good breakdown. And you can tap on the actual, let's see. Well, I guess you can't do it on there. It actually, though, so it gives you down here. So this photos is taking up that much, and it gives you that. And then your messages, iMovie, et cetera, et cetera. Most applications are pretty small. As you can see, the actual application is small. And that's why GarageBand, which is a native Apple application, is a large one and not used. And I don't know, they keep putting it back on and I don't even do anything. So it's a good idea to just kind of look through and see what is taking up iPad storage. I just get a lot of questions about my iPad not working so good. And sometimes that is the reason. We have too many things going on. Okay, so I want to teach you some things today that I think are just interesting and useful. If you are browsing the web, I use both Chrome and Safari. I also use something I may have told you last week called Brave. Brave is a search engine that doesn't track cookies and doesn't have ads. It's good and bad. It's good because it doesn't track your cookies, and it's good because it doesn't have ads. It's not always the most useful search engine when you are really trying to get like a lot of information. It tends to not have the highest levels of information, especially like financial information or stocks. I mean, health information, like if you're doing a lot on research, they tend to, for some reason, not have those because, companies have to pay to be on certain search engines and they don't always want to pay for everything. So I want to show you though today how to save some information that you may get on the web, like a photograph or an image on the web. So I'm going to open by tapping my Chrome. I'm going to tap Chrome. Okay. For those of you that don't know me, I love gorillas. I actually am working on a class. I've developed it. It hasn't been launched, about my trip to Rwanda to track the gorillas. And so I love gorillas and I keep a lot of images of them. They are so different and different. And we look at gorillas and we think, oh, they all kind of look alike. They don't. They are as different as we are. But so I came up with this. I'll go back just for, okay. So here I am. I'm searching, right? I'm on Google. I typed in gorillas, right? And so say I want to go to mountain gorillas. All right. So now I'm at mountain gorillas. And say I'm going to open up this guy. If I would like to save that image in my library, my photo library or somewhere else, what you're going to do is you're going to hold down the image. So I'm holding it with my finger and I'm going to say save image. All right. I'm going to say save image. And now that image should be saved in my photos library. If I would like, and we're going to check it in a minute. If I would like to do something else, like send that image, I hope you all know about, let me get up here. This little guy, it's the same as this little guy. If I tap that, it gives me an opportunity to send that picture in a message to send it in an email, to do a lot of different things with it. Does everybody know in this class what about this bar? Is there anyone that doesn't know what that is? That is basically your box with an arrow that says, I want to send this. It works. It's on every single Apple application that has an opportunity to share something. That's how you share it. Any questions?
Yeah, I didn't know what it was for.
Okay.
And I do have a question. When you said to save a picture, what are you holding down? What are you pressing down on?
I'm going to tell you. Oopsie, sorry, I didn't mean to close all that out. So I am holding, I'm sorry, I'm taking my finger and I'm actually touching the gorilla. I just touched the screen.
Okay.
And then I went to save image. But now what I'm going to do is go to my home button and go to my photos. So, this is photos, right? I'm going to touch my photos and I'm going to go to my library up here. And there's my gorilla, right? There's my gorilla. There's a not very pretty picture of me either. So because I saved him before. So there's my gorilla. It's in my photo library. And what's great about that, photos is the most important application for keeping your photos. Like is like in Apple world and probably in most computer world. If you have photos, they should be in a photo application. If you have documents, they should be in a document application. Saving photos in documents or saving photos in notes is fine, but it's going to take up more space. And that's because the way that these devices are built is so that the tag on the whatever it is, whether it's a document, whether it's an image, is formatted for that particular kind of storage. So like I said, saving an image in a document is going to be a larger file than if you save that image in a photo document, in a photo library. Additionally, opportunities for editing or doing more things with that photo are going to happen if you are in a photo application. So I am actually in Photos now, all right? This is in Photos. And if I want to do something with it, I can go to Edit and it will give me all of the photos opportunities to do things, to edit, to make bigger, to crop, to do whatever. All of these things and all of these things are editing tools in Photos. You will not have those editing opportunities if that photo is in like your documents or your notes. Does that help everybody to understand a little bit better about why it's really important? You wouldn't put your car manual in your tax folder. It just doesn't make sense, right?
So we call this file management.
That's right. That's exactly right. File management on computer devices is so critical in terms of making your world really, really, really organized. I am a crazy file manager, more on my laptop than on my iPad, just because, to be honest with you, my iPad, I love it and I use it more to play. I don't use it so much as my storage devices or as my, working world, mostly, sorry about that, because I just, I have a laptop that's pretty portable and I like to use my iPad more for travel and, things like that. But the beauty of the ability to put photos in a photo folder or file happens mostly when you're traveling. There is a little dongle, a little connector kit that you can download photos from your camera to your iPad. And it's a beautiful, amazing little cord, because when you're traveling, you don't want to be, the beauty of digital photography now is that you don't have to carry canisters of film, but you also don't want to have 10, photo cards with you, right? SD cards with you. So what you can do is you can download the photos onto your iPad and then clear that SD card, and then you have a clean SD card. It's a really nice way to not have to buy hundreds of dollars of SD cards to travel with and to not lose your photos, because if you download them to your iPad and you've got your iCloud storage on, we're going to go over iCloud today. It's so important. You've got your iCloud or another sharing photo storage system in place, then you're not going to lose those photos, right?
Where do you get that connection?
You know what? I am going to actually Google it for you while we're on this class right now. And I'm going to show you. You can get it online. I'm going to go to Chrome and I'm going to go to camera. It's called iPad camera connector. I think that's what it's called or something like connector. Oopsie, connector.
Will it connect to the iPhone as well?
I would, okay, this is an old one, but it is, it's called, so here it is, guys. It's a Lightning to USB 3 camera adapter. So yeah, it'll definitely go to your phone as well. So what you can do is you will plug the cord from your camera, depending upon your camera, you could plug the cord from your camera into this Lightning USB camera adapter and then download it. I'm looking at this now because I haven't actually done this for a few years and it looks to me like there's a few different ones now, but this is what it's called. It's called the Apple iPad camera connection kit. Okay. That's what you want to make sure that you want to check your camera to make sure that, I mean, if you're using a phone, you don't really need to do that because if you're taking your pictures on your phone and you're making sure that they're backed up, then you don't have an SD card or anything in an SLR camera. You just have your phone. So you don't really need to put them on your iPad. They will automatically be there if you're in properly iCloud storage set up. But that's what it's called. It's the iPad camera connection kit. And I just thought of it and to tell you guys about it because I feel like we're all going to get back into traveling and we want to save our worlds, right? So just thought I'd share that little tidbit with you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so now we're back to the world of iPad. So I wanted to teach you that. I wanted to make sure that you guys knew how to cut, copy, and paste text. It's the same as on a computer, but if you're using your iPad as your main device, let's learn how to copy and paste text onto other places. So one of the beauties of the iPad now and the fact that Microsoft and Apple are playing nicer together is that we can use some comfortable applications on our iPads that we used to be able to use only on our computers, like Word. Even though Pages is Apple's native word, I don't really use Pages, but I'm teaching a Pages class, so I better start using Pages. I like Word. It just works for me. I have to make sure I have Word on here.
This is the first love syndrome in word processing.
Thank you, Fred. I love it. Okay, I am looking to see where my Word document. I know I have Word. I hope I have it on my iPad. We're gonna check right now. Do I have Word on my iPad? Let's see. I hope I do. Let's see. Word. It's actually going to be in Office is what it's going to be in. I'm not sure I have it. Let's go to Office. This is you guys all know how to look for something, right? You take one finger in the middle, scroll down, and so now it's showing in the App Store, Microsoft Word. I have it. Do I have it on this app? I don't. On this device, I don't know. The answer is yes, I have it. It's just hanging out in the cloud. The cloud right there. Maybe I'll review this for those of you that have not downloaded apps. The cloud shows that I downloaded it once, then I decided I don't want it on this computer, on this iPad. So I'm going to tap the cloud and it's going to bring it back down to my device. But I'm going to show you guys a few things while that's running, because this is kind of important. The App Store. When I go to the App Store, I'm going to see opportunities for a lot of different things. It's got the Today, Games, Apps, etc. If I want to download an app, but I don't know exactly which app, I'm going to go to Search. The little circle with the line is a spyglass, a spotlight, a whatever you want to call it. It's Apple's language of lurking for something. It's the search. It's their search world. So if I tap on that, let me close my door, sorry. If I tap on that, I can search now. Say I'd like to download a program on recipes, okay? So I'm going to type in recipes, an app on recipes. So it's going to give me all kinds of choices. So say I'd like to download an app about healthy recipes. So I go to healthy recipes and it's going to give me all kinds of choices. This is where I want to share some valuable information, and then we'll go back to picking up my word. On this screen, you will see on anytime you open the App Store, you're going to see a possibility of 4 options. You're going to see a cloud. You're going to see get. You're going to see, let's see, I might not be on here. You're going to see open and okay, we're not seeing all of these. Well, I'll teach you these 2 and then we'll go to another page. The cloud, as I said before, means that I've opened it before. I don't have the application living on my iPad. It's living in the cloud, but I want it back on my iPad. So I bring it down now by bringing it from the cloud. Get is very important. Get has 2 different, Siri's talking to me. Get has 2 different kinds of get. Get without anything underneath it means it's a free, you can probably view the entire application, get a lot of information from it. Get with in-app purchases means that you can get the application, you can download it, but you're going to be very limited on what you can do because there's going to be a subscription fee associated with further information. So I've taught in my basic class, and I'm going to teach you guys again, that Apple does not distinguish purchase if it's a free or not free application. In other words, what I'm saying is you have to have that credit card and that CVV in order to make sure that you are able to download things. All right. I don't know why my phone, here I am, a tech person. My phone is on do not disturb and it's not do not disturbing, right? So make sure you're really aware, guys, if it says in-app purchase, that it's not going to just be it's not going to be the application with all of its features unless you subscribe. So I'm going to go back now to apps and I can show you more things here. Update means there's an app date for this app. Okay. There's the cloud, which we talked about. There's open. That means that I have downloaded it. I have just not opened it. Okay. So Microsoft Word was let's see what it did. Let's find it. So I don't know where
it's open right there to the right. No, that's whiteboard. Sorry.
Yeah, it's whiteboard. I know. There it is. So see how it says open? So it downloaded it. I brought it home from the library. It's at my house, but I need to open it and have it like on my desk. So I'm going to push open and we're going to see what it does. So this is a good lesson right here. Getting started with Microsoft. I already own a Microsoft license. Okay. So this says existing Microsoft 365 users sign in. You only need to purchase one Microsoft product, Office Suite, whatever. It is good for all your devices. You do not need to purchase separate Office or anything from Microsoft for individual phone, pad, computer. If you purchase one, it is good for all of your devices. Thank you, Microsoft. So if I go to that and I type in my my account information, we'll type it in. Wendy has multiple email addresses. Now I, guys, have a password keeper that I keep on my phone. There is a password keeper class. I personally like 1Password. I don't remember all my passwords because I don't need to, because I have a password keeper. But I'm going to go down to my Microsoft Office password keeper, and I'm going to type in my password that I just brought up on my password keeper. Okay. I feel like I'm teaching you guys a lot, or talking a lot about, I feel like you're so sophisticated that I can do this. Okay, so I'm going to sign in. Oh, doesn't like it. Let's try it again. Okay, so this is very interesting to me. I am typing in what I thought my password was for Microsoft. I'm going to try it one more time because I don't remember changing it, and I don't have it updated, changed in my, this is a good lesson for you guys to see that even all of us techie people sometimes. Okay, so I can't remember my password, right? I think I can, even though it says that I updated it recently. So what I will
It says
do
you
now,
can reset it too, right there.
exactly, that's exactly right. So I'm going to reset my password right now, and they're going to send me a verification to my email. This is an opportunity. Fred is exactly right. He's my assistant teacher. I love it. If you forget your password, almost any website, almost any application, you can reset it. The bank ones and financial services ones, you can reset, but they require a lot more work. So I just had them send me a code, and I'm going to put my code in right now. So this is a good lesson for you guys to see that I'm not stuck. I'm not stuck. I can get my password. I can change it. What I'm thinking might have happened is that somewhere along the way I was teaching, and maybe I actually, I'm going to see if it's going to take this one, because sometimes it doesn't like to take previously used passwords or passwords used within the last year. Let's see what it will say. Okay, good. So it changed it. So that's beautiful. So now I'm going to go put that password back in. And it's funny because I thought that this was always my password. And now I'm thinking that maybe I changed it in a class. This is what I want to show you guys. It's really important. So we'll give it a chance. I don't really want to know when someone shares a document with me. I would be the only one sharing it. So I'm going to say not now. So now I'm ready to create and use Word. All right. Now here's the beautiful thing. It is showing my week, what Wendy Miller. If I go to my home, I have all of my documents from previous entries on my computer in my iPad now, because I have just downloaded the application for Word on my iPad, and now I can work when I'm on the plane or do whatever. So what I wanted to show you why we were getting to this was copying and pasting, right? So I'm going to go to my avocado boats. I'm really into food right now. I'm really into cooking. I'm really into being healthy and keeping track of things. I don't have anything in avocado boats, clearly. All right, well, that's not good. Let's go to basic first aid and emergency warning signs. Let's see. All right, good. This is a class I was teaching. So here's my document. I want to copy information. I'm going to take my finger. I'm going to tap, hold it down. And I have options here. I can select all, which will select the entire paragraph. Watch. See how, oopsie, sorry guys. There. Sorry, I did it too fast. I can push it down. Select all will select the entire paragraph. If I don't want the entire paragraph, I'm going to take my finger. I'm going to just hold down a word, like hold it down until you see that line come up. I'm going to go to select, and it brings up 2 bars with balls on either end. If I'd like to just copy this first line, I'm going to take my finger and drag. I'm dragging that ball at the bottom and I'm dragging the ball at the top, and I'm going to say copy. I am now going to get out of this application, but I'm going to show you something really cool in a minute. I'm going to get out of this application. I'm going to go to my notes application. I'm going to go to a new note, which is up here. And I'm simply going to hold my finger down, and it's going to give me an opportunity to push paste. Maybe. Yep, there you go. Sometimes the iPad's a little tricky. I've told everybody this. The hardest part of the iPad is getting the touchdown. So I'm going to push paste, and now I have that. Let me show you something even cooler. So that's how you copy and paste on an iPad. You do the same thing on a computer, but you have your mouse, which sometimes is easier to grab things. They put those two bars with the balls on either end, they call them grab bars, and you can grab it with your finger. But now I want to show you something cool. So for those of you that I've not taught split screen to, I'm going to teach it to you right now, because I'm going to show you how useful something like this application would have been in split screen. I'm going to go back to my main page. In order to use split screen, to have two applications open at once, you must have both applications living in the dock in order to do that. Now, for those of you that I haven't shared this information, this is your main dock, right? And then everything to the right of that line are applications that you've previously used. They're just thinking ahead of you. Like maybe you need those. Maybe they're not your favorites. Maybe you don't use them all the time, but today you used them. And in fact, we have used all three of these just recently. We have used the system preferences when I was showing you how to delete your Safari browser cookies. I downloaded Word and was using that. And I was in the App Store. I'm going to actually go to my Word. I'm going to go to edit home screen, and I'm going to bring Word over to the main dock. All right, so now Word is in the dock, and so are notes. So say I wanted to do that exact same exercise, but I didn't want to have to be opening and closing so much. I want to have two screens. I'm going to open Word, right, with one finger, and this is where the iPad finger trick is tricky. To bring back up the dock, whoopsie, I'm going to bring back up the dock by simply sliding up from the bottom of the iPad, the black part. Also, guys, I'm in a horizontal view. I like my iPad better horizontal. It gives me more real estate to work on. Now, split screen is one of iPad's trickiest and I think most difficult things to do. I'm going to listen to me first. You're going to grab the application you want. You don't want it to come up with edit home screen or any other options. You want it to just come up with a rectangular black or gray bar. That's going to be it. So I'm going to try, okay, this works. See how I'm bringing this up? I'm going to bring it over there, and I now have two screens. I basically have two applications running at the same time, open on my device. Now, as you can see, they're equal size. This handlebar allows you to make one size a little bit smaller or bigger. So if you need your viewing space to be bigger in one application than another, just simply grab this bar and make it bigger so you can see your word bigger. All right. So I'm going to do this exact same exercise again, but it's going to be much easier because I have both screens open now. I have my notes and I have the information that I wanted to copy. So I'm going to hold down with my finger. I'm holding down my finger.
What are you holding down?
I am holding down my finger on the word basic.
Okay.
And then you're going to see this screen come up. Okay, I'm holding down my finger on the word basic. It takes a minute sometimes. And then that's what's going to come up. All right. Select versus select all. Select will allow me to select. Remember how I told you it gives me these handlebars and I can go like that? But if I wanted, I'm holding down on basic again. Dun, 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 dun. I should probably take a video of me doing this, but I'm holding down. It's going to take a minute sometimes. And now I can push select all. It will select that entire paragraph. Everybody get that? If I want to copy this entire paragraph, I will go copy. I will then take my finger over here and I will hold down with my finger just on this blank space. Dun, 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 dun. Maybe a tap. Oh, wait, you know what? Actually, I don't want it there. Let me return this. I'm going to hold it down here. Let it go. And I'm going to put paste. And it is now going to copy all of this information, possibly a little too much. Okay. Shall I repeat this exercise doing something else, or does everybody understand where I was and why I was doing this? I need your honesty on this because this is a little bit tricky.
I would like you to repeat it because I didn't understand it.
Okay.
It is a little fiddly. It takes some practice to get
It really
the
is.
hang of
Let's
it.
start by practicing the split screen. Okay. Let's go back and practice with split screen because that can be very frustrating. So I'm going to go back to I have my iPad. With one finger, I'm going to open. So I'm going to tap on messages, right? So I just tapped on messages. All right. Now I want to bring up like Safari. I'm going to slide up from the bottom of I just slid up from the bottom. Now what's interesting is it brought up all of these. I just really want my messages. So I'm going to make sure my messages are there. Come on. And I'm going to do that exercise again and just bring up the doc. There we go. Now say I want to copy something from messages into my notes. This is where the split screen comes in. I'm going to hold on to the notes, guys. Hold on to this with my finger until I slide it up a little and I see that gray bar. Okay. Now I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to do it again for you. I'm going to open messages, slide up from the bottom, bring up my I don't want that window to come up. That's too much. I want just, oh gosh, I want just my notes. There we go. This is really tricky. And it is really helpful and fun and useful and all these things. Fred, do you have another suggestion on any way to make your little finger do that better?
No, it's just a matter of practice, and you can do that, just when you're sitting by yourself and just practice until you kind of get the hang of it. It's just kind of a fiddly sort of a thing,
It is. I have a video.
Wendy,
Yes.
do both of those have to be down in the dock?
Exactly. Beautiful question. Okay. Both applications that you want to share your screen, if you want to do split screen, both applications must be in the dock. And for those that need a refresher, to bring an application into the dock or to move it, you must take one finger and hold on to the application until you get a menu bar that says, every application is going to have different things. That's a map one. So I'm going to go to edit home screen, wait for everything to start wiggling. Once it starts wiggling, it means it can move. So I can now take my finger and drag this application right down into the dock and let it go when it's down there. The trickiest part of the iPad, honestly, is the touch because we're used to a mouse. Now, you have to think of your finger like the mouse in that you drag with a mouse, but you don't let go of it till wherever you want your cursor to be, basically, right? So it's practice, guys. And I wish that I had a crystal ball to tell you a better way to do this, but it's just practice hanging on. Was that clear? Like, was that a good exercise to learn, or did you feel like that was like not something you'll want to know? Just kind of taking a poll, to be honest with you.
Oh, that's good.
That's
Okay.
good. I want to know it.
Great. Okay. Have I taught all of you, or do all of you know how to create folders on your screen so that you can clean up your your desktop? Does everyone know how to do that, or shall I show you?
I don't. I'm sorry.
Okay. Let's learn it. It's a beautiful, really nice. Oh no. Hey, that's why we're here.
I'm going to be a lot of I don't, so I'm sorry.
Wait, number one, you're not sorry. You're a learner. Number two, I've told you, I don't mind answering the same question 50 times. And number three, I want you to learn it. So I don't means you're here to learn something. This is all what we're about, at least what I'm about in teaching. I have no issue. I asked the question because I need to know. So let me tell you how to do this. So, all right, let me find a couple of good things to do this with. All right, so let's say that, because I do this every day, and so I mix my stuff all around. Let's say that I would like to put my voice memos and my podcasts in a folder so that I have everything that's voice related. I don't know if that's a really good example, but voice related, my podcasts, my memos, things like that in one folder. So listen to me very carefully. I'm going to hold on to one of the applications, wait until I see the opportunity to edit home screen, and then drag that application on top of the other. Now, I know you can't see me, but I'm going to hold onto voice memos. I'm going to go to edit home screen, and I'm going to drag voice memos on top of podcasts. And you see now it made a folder called business. Well, that doesn't make sense to me, right? But that's what it named it. Apple has its own way of naming. I don't want it to say business. That makes no sense to me. I'm going to tap the X up on that gray bar, and I'm going to change it to voice. It's kind of like voice command. I don't know, voice apps, even though that's not really it. Music apps. I would normally put podcasts maybe in my music, something like that. But I just changed it by typing what I wanted. I'm then going to touch the screen anywhere in the blue part. It is going to put that new folder back on my screen. I'm going to tap my screen again. So I just tap, just one tap, not tap. And I now have a folder called voice memos, voice apps. I have something called games. I have something called music. I have browsers. If you are, like Fred said, a file management junkie, and you like things to be organized into folders, then you want to do this. On my computer, I'm very organized, and it's a different function on the computer, but I keep everything organized. The exact same process of organizing applications happens on your phone the same way. It's just a way to keep your screens clean. Now,
it's just like putting a file folder in a file cabinet. If you didn't put them in there and just threw all the documents in there, you could never find anything.
Well, that's true, but I want to tell you what a learner actually told me about this, Fred, and it didn't cross my mind until they shared it with me. One of the reasons people like the iPad is because it's not as big as the computer, bigger than the phone, but every application icon tells you what it is. It's like McDonald's or Burger King. You don't need to read. A 2-year-old can tell you where McDonald's is because they see the symbol. If I slide across and I see all these applications, I can choose one because it's familiar to me, right? Like I know that my camera is my camera, or I know that my flight tracker is my flight. Well, see, that one needs to be updated. But basically, one of the reasons people don't file is because they like to see the icon of the application. Now, I want to go back to something that's important. If you, and I have pages and pages, okay? If you do want to file and keep things in folders, but you don't remember the name of the folder, you can always find it. Do you remember how to find things? One finger in the middle of the screen, more towards the top, I should say, like more from way up here. You're not going to see Let's View, guys, because that's my software I'm using to share with you. If you go to the top of the screen, the black, right below the black part, and you bring your finger down, you're going to see search. So say I don't know where my camera is on my iPad. I can't find it. I go to camera, I touch camera, and now my camera opens. Now I am like, okay, great. My camera's open, but where's that app? If I close my iPad, remember what I said about things living where I just opened it? When I just opened it, it lives down here. So now what I can do is I want to take my camera and I want to put it on the home screen. I simply drag it up. This feature of putting things on the iPad that you just recently opened is a wonderful way to help our little memories when we can't remember where we put the folder. So, or the application in a folder. You can name the folders anything you want, but my advice, like Fred was saying, if you have files, which we all do because we all come from a paper world, name it what you would name the file, right? Don't put any application in a folder unless you're going to tell yourself when you go to look for that application that it lives in that folder. If it's newspapers, you can put all your, your online newspapers in one folder. If it's exercise, if it's, just be mindful that don't create things that you can't remember. Create things the way you would remember and look in a filing cabinet. Some people like to file by letter. So say you want to have every one of your applications that starts with an A in an A folder or an A through C folder. You can do that too. It's really up to you. Your filing system is your filing system. It is not mine. It's no one else's. Do it the way that makes sense in your head. Got it? Okay. So I tend to always run over and I don't want to run over. What I want to do is make sure that you all learned something today and understand what I taught you. A thumbs up, a thumbs down. I don't know. We need to do this again. I'm cool with whatever. We're good. I'm not hearing anything, so I'm assuming everybody's good.
This is Trudy. I will be back again.
Great. I want you to be back because I teach, and Fred is learning this. I'm not one of these teachers that teaches tech classes and they're the same every time, because I think that many of you will take my classes every week. And I promise you, I will teach you something new every week. iPad, Mac, iPhone, whatever, intermediate is a, oyster. World's your oyster. Once you're at that level, you don't want to just learn how to copy and paste. You don't want to just learn what I taught you about folders. You want to learn a lot of things, right? And even though Get Set Up is so beautiful that they have specific classes for a lot of specific things, the general stuff on iPad, I want to teach you as many tools that you can remember. There's classes on notes, there's classes on calendar, there's classes on, photos, and that's beautiful. And that's that instructor's job to teach you the intricacies of that. I feel very empowered that my job is to make the iPad the most useful for you. And then once you learn how to get an app or use an app, then you can take the next class to get more deeply involved with that app. So, and if there's anything that you are playing around with your iPad and you're like, oh, I can't remember how she said that, I can't remember what to do, or gosh, I wish I knew this, please write them down because you're going to forget next time you see me. It's a week. Our brains remember a minute, at least mine does. So write it down.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Because I'm just exploring what's available on Get Set Up. But how did you get to the edit home screen thing?
Oh, okay. When you hold your finger down on an application, the opportunity of anything in this application, the menu items will come up. And that's how and then do you see edit home screen right here?
I do.
Any application you hold down with your finger, this bar menu will come up.
Okay. And then how do you get it on your home screen?
It is on your home screen already.
Oh, it's already on there. Okay.
This is your home. This is your home.
Right. Okay.
Okay. And if you have questions that are like this, you're kind of exploring Get Set Up and you're exploring like an iPad or something, and I think Fred can tell you this, take my basic class and you'll learn the basics of working the features of the iPad. And then you'll move on. Even in my basic class, I teach one little new pearl every week, because I think that their basic means a lot of things to a lot of people. Intermediate does as well, right? I mean, it's kind of like, I don't know if any of you guys are into sports or whatever, but an intermediate ski class has like 4 levels in it, right? An intermediate whatever class. So I try to reach everybody. And that's why questions are super helpful to me to understand what your specific needs are.
Right. The basic one would be good for me. Thank you.
You're welcome. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you for being part of Get Set Up. Tell your friends, tell everyone about Get Set Up. If you have a class that you would like to see taught that's not being taught, please let us know. If you have something to share that you think would be fun, interesting for someone else, let Get Set Up know, because we're always looking for ambassadors to have schedule social hours and things, and like-minded people. If you're talking about your garden right now, you live in Colorado, get on and say, I want to talk about my garden. I mean, whatever you want to do, Get Set Up is trying to create a community of learners in whatever that looks like. So thank you guys for being here, and I hope you come back to more classes. I'm going to make Fred my official assistant, because he's really got some, comfort is funny, but comfort comes in many different styles. And most of the time it comes from being more experienced on computer stuff. Don't let any of this scare you. It can't launch any bad things. It can't delete your bank account. I mean, it can do a lot of things, but just play with it, guys. That's why Apple made it. They made it so you can carry it around and play with it. So have fun. Thank you to Todd, my great TA, who's always helpful. And I hope you guys have a great, it's Wednesday already, right? Todd put down some other classes. I'm teaching a MyFitnessPal class pretty soon. I teach a stroke class. I teach an exercise class. I teach a lot of tech classes. I just like to share information that I know with everybody else. So have a beautiful day. Get outside and walk, go for a walk. Everybody knows that if I teach a class, I require that you take one of my classes and then you go outside for the same amount of time.
Oh, I would, but it's raining.
Oh, don't do that.
No.
I never thought about that. It rains in Colorado like once every blue moon, and the other day it rained for 24 hours and nobody knew what to do. We don't even own like rain gear here because we don't know what to do with it. So have a great day, everybody. Be well and be good to yourself.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye, Todd.